Hello, this is George Senda, the real, official, authentic, original, the official, the guy from Pittsburgh, except no cheesy YouTube commentators, imposters, or trolls. And I still don't take no for an answer. But the answers we're getting are no. The answers we're getting are wrong. They tell us everybody on Social Security is going to get a check. Then we find out people on Social Security disability, SSI, are not covered. Veterans are not covered in the law. And yet, and the other thing, 18 to 24-year-olds who attend college may or may not have a job, but they're not dependents of their parents, are not getting a check either. Now, I want to read from the law, and I'll tell you what I found out today from my Congressman, Mike Thompson's office. The IRS, the Munchin, the Treasury Munchin, Secretary of the Treasury Munchin, I won't call him Minuchin, he's a Munchin, and he fails. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, CARES, provides a legal authority for Treasury to provide payments to these groups automatically, that's SSI and VA pension and disability beneficiaries, and mandates quick action. Quote, the Secretary shall, subject to provisions of this title, refund or credit any overpayment attributable to this section as rapidly as possible. Emphasis from this site on taxes. Within this legal mandate, the law allows Treasury to electronically deliver rebates to payees who receive tax refunds or a federal payment, quote unquote, including federal benefits like SSI, VA pensions, disability benefits, and railroad retirement. This authority is similar to how the CARES Act enables Treasury to send payments directly to tax filers who filed a return for 2018 but not yet for 2019, and how it authorizes Treasury to send payments directly to recipients of Social Security and railroad benefits who have not filed a tax return. Now, the problem is every site I look on says that people in SSI, VA, railroad retirement will get a check. We'll get money deposited directly in our bank account, but it's not true. Because I talked to Congressman Mike Thompson's office in Santa Rosa, not Vallejo. You call up Vallejo, we're out in the field. And I told the guy in the Santa Rosa office, stop standing in the field, get in the office. And he says, well, most of our staff are working from home. Well, then it's time for them to answer. You put in a line. It's not that hard to do, even in the coronavirus lockdown. Put in a phone line for those people. Give them an extra cell phone. Whatever they need to do to answer a phone. Or send an email out. Or send a press release out. And get these checks to people who need it. Now, there are people developmentally disabled. There are people with special needs. There are people who have never filed a tax return in their lives. They didn't make enough income. There are people who are seniors. There are people who are blind. There are people who are special needs people. There are people with glaucoma and macular degeneration and crippled who would have great difficulty filling out a tax form. Well, they've thrown that thing out from everything I've been able to determine. But now they said Social Security on this side, the munchkins of Social Security and the munchkins of the IRS, and the IRS is under the Treasury munchkin, they have not decided what to do as of 3 o'clock this afternoon. They haven't made a decision. So if you're reading it on Forbes, CNBC, AARP, USA Today, NBC, CBS, ABC, all of these sites, they're all wrong. Now, the latest information, they're going to start depositing checks electronically on the 15th. They moved it up. And they made a big deal about this with the Munchkin moving it up. But no one on Social Security disability, no one who gets a VA pension, and some veterans who can no longer work ever, they're fully disabled, 100% service connected, they get SSI as well. as a VA pension and railroad retirement people. We may not get a check at all. 7 million of us, and who knows how many veterans there are or railroad retirees there are. And then there may be the widows of veterans, because my mother used to get a veteran's widow check. So it's time once again to start raising hell with your congressman and your U.S. senator. Now, you cannot call people like Nancy Pelosi. Their phones are garbled. Her office in San Francisco, the phone's garbled. And, of course, it was too late in the day to call Congress in D.C. And the Republicans aren't saying anything about this. Now, we had 40 U.S. senators last week, Democrats, send a letter to the IRS commissioner. Don't make people on Social Security file a tax return, and the VA and railroad retirement. They pulled that requirement, but I was told today that in order for people in those three categories to get a check or a deposit, they'll have to fill out a form, which means we're back to square one. Instead of filling a tax return out, either on paper, which can take 5 months to get your check, after Munchin and Trump said it wouldn't, you got to fill out a piece of paper. And I have seen nothing on the IRS coronavirus website that says how to fill out this piece of paper. Now, we were told a big thing about the 1099 form. I don't get a 1099 form, but here's my thing from Social Security for the payment they sent me about a week ago. And they had another number, which I don't remember. But this is in the computers of Social Security. This should be in the computers of the IRS, but it isn't. And it's not just about me, and it's not just about Kathy, and it's not just about Patty. There's 7 million people and millions of veterans who are going to get screwed again like they did in 2008. Because back then they required you to file a tax return as well, and a lot of people never got a check. And there are people out there, even though they get a monthly check, they're hurting. They need food, they have medical expenses, they can't see their doctors, they have to take their medication, diabetics need insulin. They have to go have somebody go get it for them and knock on their door and hand it to them in a bag or leave the bag out the door. They can't be seen by a doctor. Kathy's in the emergency room today again because she's in agony. She had to take the bus. And that's a medical expense too. But it's not reimbursed by anybody. So the Munchin fails and the president fails. Because what they tell you on the one hand just ain't happening. Because the Social Security Administration is sitting on its ass, the IRS is sitting on its ass, and the Munchin is sitting on the steps of the Treasury building playing with dollars while the system grinds to a halt because his bureaucrats don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. All right, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. Have a great night. Stay wet, warm, dry, or cool as the case may be, and stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now. And call or write your congressman, your U.S. senator, and the president, and the secretary of Treasury, if you can. It's a deep, dark secret to try to get hold of that guy. They make it impossible. I could find no way to contact him other than mailing address. There's no email, there's no phone, nothing. So, all right, bye-bye.